Good afternoon, viewers from all over Abia State and the world. My name remains Umeh. I am the anchor of this program, Focal Point. Focal Point is an online television program where we discuss political issues happening around us in Nigeria and all over the world. And also, we deepen our discussion in issues happening within Abia State and enlighten the people very much. Today on this program, I have one of the leaders of Abia State, one of the political leaders of Abia State, a legal juggernaut in his own right, a senior advocate of Nigeria. I have with me today a one-time, triple times AG, Attorney General of the state. I have with me Umeh Kalu, SAN. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your activity. And also, let's not forget, he's the chairman of Obi Dati campaign organization in Abia State. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I know I was able to capture most of the...
Yes. I'm not the chairman, I'm the coordinator.
You're the coordinator.
Coordinator, yes.
Okay, let's kickstart it. Let's do this discussion. Let's start from the February 25th election. Your party, the Labour Party, won so many federal seats in Abia State. Won also a senatorial seat in Abia State. And won the state for the presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi. What is your take on the outcome of that election?
Well, it was a good outing for the Labour Party and by extension our presidential candidate, His Excellency Peter Obi. Abians spoke in one voice and in a very loud voice on that day. And I think from the analysis we've gotten so far, Abia got about some 5% of the total votes cast at that election. Well, 75% because elections did not hold in most parts of the state. I'm sure if places like Isiamo, Abia and Okamu federal constituency, and even in Abia, places like Umeh, they had elections in those places, I'm sure we would have made up to 90 or 95%. But there was quite a lot of attempt at suppressing the votes from Abia State. In most areas, even where elections took place, material didn't arrive till about 2 p.m. So they had only about 2 hours of voting or 3 hours of voting. So I wouldn't know what led to all that, but I think you can see the ripples. We understand that the REC has been placed on suspension. It's all an outflow from the way that election was conducted. But in all, it was a good outing for us. From what you said, we were able to get 6 out of the 8 federal constituencies declared. As I'm speaking, they are about now collecting their certificates of return from the INEC headquarters in Abuja. Yesterday, one of our senatorial hopefuls, Darlington Bogocha, had his own.
Senator-elect.
Yes, senator-elect. Yes, and the other two, Abia South and Abia North, they are all subject of litigation now. Very soon, I'm sure, we've not had the last about those ones. The candidates themselves have come out to say that we didn't have a full election in those areas, that they weren't conclusive. Yes, I've seen video clips where certain things happened. So we are still, the last has not been heard about the senatorial elections in Abia. I'm sure maybe by the time we are done with the tribunals, the picture will get clearer.
Okay, let's look at this. The elections of February 25th have come and gone. But it seems as the party on ground, which is the PDP, obviously only one seat, which is that Upper East and West Federal constituency.
Yeah.
Do you think that this election of the 25th is an assessment of the productivity or the positiveness of the government of the PDP in Abia State?
Well, there's no other way we can see it apart from the way you've said it. It is so obvious that Abians have turned their back to the PDP. Some of us saw this happening. It's not. We're not surprised. I'm sure they themselves too shouldn't be surprised because the whole thing they all bother on performance. Borders on performance. Election time is harvest time for political parties. Whatever you sow is what you're going to reap. So prior to the elections, you should have pillars. What the people feel about the performance of the government, how far you are rated, and all that. And everybody knows it. If you go to even the child on the street will tell you that there's a whole lot of discontentment about the performance of the successive PDP government that we've had here. So for us, I think it's a clear signal that PDP is gone, and rightly too, because like I said, sitting government having only one federal constituency seat. And I can equally tell you that even the Prince in Quanta that excelled in the Upper East, I'm not sure it was just because of PDP. I'm sure it was because of the person of Prince in Quanta and what he has done for the people of Upper East and West. It has nothing to do with PDP. So if you ask me in a nutshell, the days of PDP, they've been here for quite close to since 1999, and there is absolutely nothing to show for it. So for me, the people have passed their judgment on PDP, and it's very glaring for everybody to see.
Okay, let's go back to the federal election. The opposition candidate is furthering his litigation as regards trying to retrieve back the mandate he claimed that Nigerians gave to him. Do you think he has a chance of claiming that victory, considering that in the chart of INEC came third?
Well, that is INEC chart, but Nigerians know what happened. We all know. We've seen pictures. We've seen. You see, election is like a pyramid. From the polling booths, you build it up to the point of declaration. And I can tell you that Labour Party will not just come out to say they want. I mean that the election went their side when they don't have empirical evidence or evidence to show. Remember, we have polling unit agents in almost 85 or 90% of the polling points in Nigeria, and these polling agents have sent their results to the party. They've done their own computation. People were taking records even as the elections was being held. So, and we've seen areas of malpractice, we've seen areas of infractions, we've seen areas where things that ordinarily shouldn't happen in the course of the election. And the evidence is overwhelming. Like you said, the legal team is being put in place. I know they've had about 2 meetings. The third meeting will be holding in, I think, on Monday. After the GUBER election, there will be another meeting. They are gathering facts and figures, which they will present to the tribunal. And I have no doubt in my mind that something will come out of it. The margin of victory of Labour Party is overwhelming. I don't want to go into those details or to tell you how they want to prove it, because as I speak, although the petition has not been filed, but at least some preliminary issues steps have been taken. I think in a couple of hours or minutes, the Court of Appeal should be making a pronouncement on the issue of inspection of documents, which P2B and Labour Party have gone to court, obtained an order that those documents should be inspected, but INEC has gone to vary that order. So what I will assure you is that the suit that will be filed by Labour Party will in no way be frivolous. We have facts and figures to prove, and the people are willing. The witnesses have been assembled, and I'm sure the tribunal will be overwhelmed when all the evidence will put on the table. It is obvious to everybody that P2B won this election. It's so glaring.
Okay, let's come down to Abia State more. 11th March is the day we'll be having the gubernatorial election and the Houses of Assembly elections in Abia State and the Federation General. Do you think the Labour Party can repeat what they did on the 25th of March, of February in Abia State? Can they repeat it on the 11th of March in Abia State again, as they swept everywhere on the 25th?
Well, Labour Party will do more this time than what happened. I can assure you that. You see, every politics is local. In the past, I've always said that while Nigerians demand their faith over the faith of the nation, Abians have suffered what I should call double tragedy. The national economy is affecting us. The local economy here is equally affecting us. And you see, let me tell you, nobody, no citizen of this country can talk about the poor state of affairs more than people who live in Abia State. And the evidence is overwhelming. Not just that this government has been here for 8 years, but this is a government, because the anger really won't be talking about just OKC Igbaso's government. We're talking about governments before him, because they've been successive. Since 1999, the PDP government has been here, and Abians have been watching. Since 16 years of OKC Igbaso, 8 years of OKC Igbaso, 8 years of T.O.G., another 8 years of Kalu. Put this together, you'll be talking about 24 years of PDP governance in Abia. And the question to ask yourself is, what do you have? What is there for the people to see? This is a state that was created in 1991. Close to 30 years. It should be about more than 30 years, about something years. We don't have a government house. The governor has no place, no residence. There is no official residence for the governor. The SAG has no place to stay. That place the SAG office is staying used to be a primary school. That is wait for 31 years. The chief judge, let me talk about the other arm of government, the judiciary. The chief judge has no place of residence. There's no residential area for the judges. Absolutely nothing. Umeh has remained the way it has been for all these years. The roads are unmotorable. You can go to Abia and see what is happening there. I schooled in Abia, National High School Abia. I can't access my school. I can't access National High School. No vehicle can pass National High School, which in the past used to be an express road. So it is that bad. I come from Abia. There's been no light in Abia for the past 4 years. Abia is the third town in Abia after Umeh. No electricity in Abia. We don't have pipe-borne water. There is no town in Abia State that has pipe-borne water. Abia residents don't have water. Umeh residents, which is capital, no pipe. Everybody, you have to dig your borehole. I can't even access Abia by road now. If I'm going through the express road, I have to go through Umeh. Anuchuku people get to Anuchuku through Akwa Ibom State. They don't go through Abia. It is that bad. You see refuse everywhere. You can't find any hospital anywhere. The only hospital of essence in Abia State is the Federal Medical Center. And if you go there, you will see what it is. There is no. The doctors have been on strike. Abia State University Teaching Hospital has been on strike for several years. For several months, they've not been paid. Teachers have not been paid. Pensioners have not been paid for close to 7 years. No gratuity to them. So what are we talking about? So it is actually women workers don't get paid. Go to local government areas. Despite the fact that the local governments get about 100 million, there's no local government council in Abia State that doesn't get about 100 million. And the wage bill of each local government, 100 million, 150, 180 per month. The wage bill of local government, each local government in Abia State is not more than 4 million or 5 million. Yet they are being paid salaries for months and years. So it is that bad. The IGLO of the state is shared amongst some miscreants. Abia alone, the revenue that comes from Abia, if Abia is well managed, can fund this state. You wouldn't have been talking about Park and Jack. Yet, Abia State has not been able to get beyond 500 million. Why states like Ebonyi are talking about 3 billion in a month? The wage bill of Abia State in the last time that I checked was about 2.4, 2.8 per month. Yet we can't pay. I don't want to talk about the local debts. Contractors have been good. My village road was built in Okawe, which is the only road any Ohapia man can talk about for the past 24 years of PDP government. There are 2 roads that have been built in Ohapia for the past 21 years or so by successive. One from Umeh to Okawe, which is my village. The other one is from Abia to Okon, 2 roads. The one that was built from Umeh was 7.2 kilometer road that was built by Worldwide some 12 years back or 3. As I speak to you, the government has not paid for it. The contractor is in court with them. So you see, my brother, it is that bad. We've got into a breaking point in Abia State. Everybody, even the blind, can feel it. Nothing is absolutely happening here. So that is why I think that Abians of all divides, including those in PDP, are yearning for a change. It is so obvious. Even the civil servants, everybody, school children, they can all see what is happening. So if you ask me what is going to happen this Saturday, will be vengeance. The people will come out strongly to get back this state. We can't remain this way. This is a state that is renowned. If you look at the history of Nigeria, when Nigeria started as a republic, this is the state of Dr. Michael Okpara, where all the Igbos from all divides used to converge here. Eastern region. Michael Okpara is from here. Agui Rosi, who was the first military president of this country, is from Umeh here. Akanibia, it was from here before they went to Ebonyi. Elijoko, Kalezera, these are renowned Abians. Ajawachuku, former minister, long-time minister. So Abia, we've gone a long way. But surprisingly, somewhere along the line, I don't know what happened. We are now a pariah state. So it is actually sad, and we can't continue this way. When you get outside this state and tell people that you're from Abia, they look the other way. Some of us are fallen victims. I stay in Abuja. When I stay in the committee of states, and they say, get to introduction, and introduce yourself from Abia, people will just mimic. They look the other way. Because the problem of Abia is almost a national problem. People come here, and they see the way we are. Even those who move across Abia. I was speaking with somebody from Akwa Ibom State, and he told me because they transport by road from here to Lagos. He said the moment you get to Abia, you will know you are within Abia. When you pass Abia too, the sound of the car will change. So we absolutely cannot control this one, my brother.
Okay, let's look at some fear that people have concerning the election. People are still not very happy with the results or with the effectiveness of INEC during the last election, considering that Beavers could not upload results as they promised Nigerians. Do you think that in this election INEC will do better? That's number one. And then we've been hearing rumors that some political parties want to apply violence, want to take it by force. What's your take on those issues?
Well, these rumors have equally had it. You see, the issue of Beavers is purely for accreditation. You use Beavers for accreditation, and those who participated in the last election. Unfortunately, I didn't participate because my area falls into one of the areas that the election did not hold in Ohapia. But those who participated, from what the Beavers machine captured some of them. And you see what happens if you are talking about election rigging. Election rigging starts from accreditation. In the past, if you don't have proper accreditation, it affects the result of the election, and that is why politicians in the past, when you don't have proper accreditation, can go behind and write these results. If you write results now, and the Beavers is not captured, because the essence of the Beavers is to accredit voters who come to a polling unit to vote. And you can see, if you ask me, from the results that have come to me, because like I said, my position, I'm the coordinator of P2B, so some of these results have been sent to us, and I've looked at them. There are areas in Abia that I know in the past who normally come up with 700 voters in a polling unit. In this election, we had about 51, some 40. And why they normally have those jumbo figures in the past is because they write these results. There's no accreditation. They will just look at the voters register. Most times the voters register will say they have 1,200 persons there. They write up the whole thing. This is why you get those jumbo votes from places like Obiwa and Sisioma. Those individuals are not there. So with the Beavers, what has happened now is that it is difficult, no matter what they do, to be difficult. As long as you have accreditation, you can checkmate it. Some of these people who are now pounding their chest that they've won. You'll be surprised. When we get to the tribunal, some of these things will be very open. There will be several issues of overvoting. Because if you write the result, once the result is, whatever result you produce, exceeds the number in the beavers, which does the projection, it's automatic cancellation. So I see a situation where some of these results will be cancelled. So what I'm saying is this: yes, INEC performed below expectation. People had a high expectation for this election. We are all disappointed. And I have heard this story that some people are saying in Abia that they never knew that APC or whatever party would do what they did, and that since it's not possible, they are going to come up. But let me warn those who are saying that they will meet their Waterloo. You can only rig in a friendly environment. That is one thing. We saw the thing that happened in the north. It happened because there was some form of agreement. There was some form of collusion. It will be difficult for them here. All the parties here will have their agents, and the agents are equally prepared. They don't have violence of monopoly. I've heard about them saying they are going to import stocks from riverine areas to come to flood Abia. The river people too are having their elections too. So I don't know how many talks they have that they will, after having their own election, they will move it to Abia to come. And you see, the thing is that what we have is more like a revolution. Everything that this time has come, you can never change any event that this time has come. Abians are determined to have a change. We cannot keep doing the same thing all the time and expect a different result. We've suffered for quite several years. So my warning is that even the INEC people, we've equally had, some have said that the results have already been written, that the INEC staff have already been paid off. I want to warn any INEC staff coming in. It is important you come here and do your job. Because Abians are determined this time. We can't continue this way. Allow the people to express their franchise the way they want to. They should be able to vote. And the votes must count. I know there are fears that people may jeopardize this election. Because you see, the feeling they have is that there's so much money that has been set aside for purposes of compromising the election. Abians should not get afraid about it. Like I said initially, and I want to repeat it, you can only read in the friendly environment. And the time has come for a change in Abia, and the people are determined to defend their votes. And will not be there. Well, it's not a question of voting and then going to your house to sleep. You vote and wait. And even this issue of uploading, it is possible, it is not, the issue of not uploading. Some people were deceived because some of the POs who were compromised said they forgot the password and all that. This time I want to warn them. If you don't have the password, it's better you don't even come. If you are called for election purposes and you don't have the password to upload, it is better you stay in your house, because the people will be there and they will insist that you must upload, and the agents of the parties must have evidence of the uploading. The results too must be captured, and all the agents will sign and have copies of the results from the polling units.
Okay, it's a public knowledge that you are one of the key supporters of Dr. Alex Otti, the Labour Party candidate in Abia State. But can you enlighten us, why exactly are you supporting Dr. Alex Otti?
Well, those who know me can liken me to Paul in the Bible, because for the 2 times past, I think Dr. Alex Otti started in 2015. He had another run in 2019. In all those areas, I was on the other side. I didn't support him. The reason wasn't that I saw him as a bad person, but I had a duty to do as the chief officer of the state, and I had a political party. I was in the PDP then. Now I left government in 2019. I left out of personal volition. I wasn't sacked. I left at the end of the tenure, and as at that time, my conscience had told me that things were not being done the way it should be done. Well, it doesn't matter who you are. I have my trust and belief in God. People who know me, even when I was a government, can attest to the way I performed my duties. But as at 2019, even before 2019, I had decided that I was going to quit and then take some steps. And when I left in 2019, I decided that I was going to join forces, because I saw the rot in Abia State. Nobody knows the route here more than I do. I was in the system, so I know, but this is not the forum for it. And I made a personal decision. Nobody compelled me. I said I was going to join forces. And I started searching for a political party. The first party we were looking at was APC because of the national spread. Labour Party wasn't in the picture. All of us were there. I met Alex Oti and some other progressives there. But along the line too, we discovered that the APC too wasn't a channel for us, wasn't a platform. We discovered that both APC and PDP were just the same persons. The sequences were the same, and we decided to look for a platform. Along the line, Labour Party became attractive. And I got into Labour Party with Alex Oti and so many of us. I have looked at all the candidates. I would have gone for the governorship of Abia State. I was equally prepared. My people from Abia actually lured me to where people were telling me, look, Umeh, you should throw your heart into the ring. But I told them it's only one seat. It's only one seat. If I see somebody who has the capacity, the competence, I will back him. And I saw Alex Oti. This is a man who already, I've seen his blueprint. I've seen his plan for Abia. This is a man who had a flourishing banking career, and he had to resign on his own to assist Abia, to get Abia. He saw the route in Abia himself. Tried the first one, the second one, and here he is now. I have seen the other candidates. How many of them? I can count them on my fingers. There is nobody that can compare with Alex Oti. Because what is important is that we want to change. We want to change the story of Abia. We want somebody who has capacity, we have somebody who is competent, who has character, somebody who has international exposure, local exposure, who has the connection, he's an economist. I know what Abia needs at this moment because we are in deep shit. Abia is in deep trouble. I've even told him that he may not know the extent of the damage, the extent of the road, until he gets onto the seat. There are many things that are even hidden, which will come to the fore. Nobody knows the debt portfolio of Abia. Nobody knows. We are owing some international bodies. Foreign loans, local loans. The infrastructure is almost nil. There's no road in Abia anywhere. We have to fix this. The SMEs that we have in Abia, we've not been able to, but every day we hear about Abia economic city. It's been on the drawing board every year. Nothing has come out of it. There's so much to be paid. All these pensioners that have not been paid, are you going to ask them to just write up their pension, gratuities and their entitlements? All the salary areas, are we going to write them up? These are things that need to be fixed, and it's only somebody in the mode of Alex Oti that can do it. I have looked at the others. So the point I'm making, and the problem of Abia State, if I must say this, the greatest problem we have is that we have successively, for whatever reason, been dragging people into government house. People who were not prepared, who were never prepared for the office. Just because the man is sitting wants a successor who will cover his misdeeds, he will fight tooth and nail to make sure that he gets somebody to succeed him. This is the bane of our politics. Godfatherism. And no state will ever survive with a godfather. Look at Anambra State. Anambra State was virtually a pariah state despite the human capacity that they have there. Until Chris Ngige came up and said to hell with the GUBER brothers. He was able to break that yoke. And ever since then, Anambra has been on a path of sustainable growth till today. All the states around us, go to Enugu, the same thing. Enugu is flourishing. Go to Ebonyi. I'm sure you saw the battle between Umahi and when he was deputy governor. Yes. And the governor there, I've forgotten his name now. The person who was the governor of Umahi. But Umahi is a man of his own. Elegy. That is why Umahi has been able to sustain what he's doing in Ebonyi State. And even Imo, when we are complaining, Imo is moving despite the problems that they have. Abia has remained where it is because of this issue of godfatherism. I'm not sure Theology had any plan of being governor of Abia State. He was a civil servant. The PAMS got to the level of PAMSEC. Dr. Joseph Kalu, he was his chief of staff. Dragged him to come and be governor. The man was not prepared. He hadn't the means to do it. He had no blueprint for the state. But his boss said, come and be governor. And we all know When you ask, the whole idea was maybe because he was the chief of staff, he could extend his tenure through him. You saw the battles they had. They were just there for 2 years before the trouble started, which caused this state quite a lot of problems. And the TOG equally needed people to support him. Other godfathers came on throne when Oji exited. You equally know the emergence of Dr. Kezi Igbazu. Igbazu was in government here with us. He was in Asepa in Abia. He had no money to contest election. Neither he had no blueprint. We all know how he came about. Even the governor himself told me. People introduced Okezie to him. Few months to the election. That is how Okezie came on board. He wasn't prepared for it. He didn't ask anybody to do it. The thing just came to him. He even said it in several interviews. And that is why he has remained grateful to the TOG family. So it's the same thing we're talking about. Presently, as we speak now, the man who PDP is bringing in, they had just joined just about a month ago or 2 months ago. The man didn't tell you he wanted to be governor. If he had wanted to be governor, I'm sure he would have contested in the first primaries they had. So his entrance is now circumstantial. It's accidental. As I speak, I'm sure he has no funds to fund the election. Somebody must be funding it. And that is the whole thing about godfatherism. Because at the end of the day, you are indebted to the godfather, whichever way you want to look at it. Because he's the man who will fund your election. So we can't control this way as a state. We must get people who have the capacity. And let's say is accomplished. I have been to his country. He has a home, both in Isi Alamba. Like is already met. If you go to I don't know where he has a place, it's already met. So we don't need to get people into power as governor. The first thing you do is you want to build a house for yourself that will be fitting of the governor. That's the starting point. And then your family members will come and surround you. You have to empower them and all that. This is the bane of Abia politics. So I must beg Abians. I'm on my knees asking Abians. We must save our state from this continuous ruinage. Everywhere is ruins in Abia State. The people are yearning for a change. And that change, if you ask me, the man that can bring about that change at the moment is Alex Oti. So we are all determined to support him. I'm not alone in this project. Everybody that is progressive. I'm sure by the time we get him, some of us will be happy that if not because I will not be part of his government. I can't be governor again. Commissioner in Abia. Neither will I be SHG. I have no business here. I am done with Abia. But I want a change here because it's my state. This is our state. We have no other state than Abia. I want the state to be alright for everybody, including my children. I have grandchildren. I have 2 grandsons, and this is their father is from this state.
Okay, sir. We have 2 final questions in this our interaction, and one will be: are you still receiving threats?
Yes, the threats is not ceasing, but I know God will continue to protect me. I'm receiving threats, and those threats I've told them they know where they are coming from. They're all coming from the past governors that I served and their families because they feel that I have so much, I'm opposed to what they're doing. That is why they're threatening me. But one thing I want to tell them is this. You see, I will not run away from Abia State because this state belongs to all of us. My grandparents and grand-grandparents are from Abia and I'm from Abia. I won't run away from here. I won't run away from here. And I'm not after anybody. I have left the past. If the appearance is that some of us have information, I think it's misplaced. I don't have information on anybody, whatever information, and I will continue to tell them. Nobody has taken anything away from me, Umeh Kalu as a person. Nobody has. If they've taken anything from anybody, it must be people of Abia. They are accountable to them and not to me. And I will not go to fight Abia's battle. Nobody has engaged me as an attorney. Nobody has, since I left, I have not petitioned anybody, and I will not petition. I will never be a witness in anything against anybody. But I know that one day, we will all die. And when we die, we will all stand before God in judgment. So whoever has done anything against the people of Abia, against the state or the citizens, is answerable to God. I feel sad every day when I see people die on a daily basis, especially pensioners, who ordinarily would not have little money to buy high blood pressure drugs, little money. And you keep away their stipends, little money. Some of them are dying in droves. Meanwhile, somebody somewhere is collecting about 750 million as security vote. I have written about this to say this is inhuman. This is inhuman. You will leave civil servants, some of them will stay for 24 months. They have families, you will pay them their salaries. Meanwhile, you have a first line charge of 750 million. The moment the fact or the fact drops, 750 million goes into the account as security vote. And you ask yourself, what do they do with the money? When you go to other states, you see state governments buying vehicles for the police, the army. I've never seen, even when I was here for 10 years, I've seen a state government buying about 100 vehicles for the police. They share it amongst security agencies. Such thing has never happened in Abia. You see them buy cycles. You heard what Obi said about Anambra, how he was spending his own security vote. Buying vehicles for vigilante groups in every community in Anambra State. Have you ever seen anything like that in Abia? That never happened here. So what I'm saying that it is inhuman for people to behave the way they will behave. Allowing people to go to our judiciary here. So many of our court halls here. If you go there, you wait for this state. And I'm being told, somebody just told me last night that they are busy now setting up courts for the tribunal that will come to Abia. Buying generators for the tribunal that will come to Abia. Is that not deceitful? You buy generator for people you are expected to come and do your case. Whatever reason you have for doing that. You are already preparing for the tribunals. You start buying generators for them, buying fridges, painting court halls for them. It's all deceit. Meanwhile, the judges who labor here can't even get a stipend. Some of them don't have generators in their court halls. Obingwa High Court, like as I speak to you, Obingwa High Court, Obingwa High Court, they've been sitting in Abia for more than 5 or 7 years. Quote me, I'm telling you. Court hall. And you don't need up to 5 billion to build a court hall. I built Ohampia Court hall when hoodlums destroyed it. I decided to build that court, and I know why I did that. Because I know if I don't build that court, Ohampia will not have a high court. Maybe for 10 or 20 years, nobody will do it. I decided to do it. And it didn't cost me up to 10 million naira to do that court. And it's the best court in Abia. Ask lawyers who go there. Court halls. So what does it take to build court halls? Yet, you need to go to our judiciary and see the state of our judiciary. The judges. There are judges that have been appointed in Abia for the past 3-4 years. They don't have vehicles. The last appointment. Yet, they are preparing to appoint more judges. The ones that are here don't have cars to go. So it is that bad the way we do our things here. So it must come to an end. And the time for it is now. I'm calling on our Abians for more. It's not about politics, it's about our state. We must get our state back from these people that have held us hostage. I feel sad if a state like Ebonyi, that was created just several years before us, could be talking about, in fact, they've done the first state governor's lodge, they've done the second one. You need to go to Ebonyi and see what is happening there. Abians cannot even. The governor the other day was talking about having built about, I think, 7 or 9 flyovers in Ebonyi, a small state. It's not an oil producing state. We collect 30% derivation here. And we have a big city like Abia, with all the revenue that should come from Abia. We've only been able for 8 years to do one flyover in Osisioma. And what is the cost of that flyover? I heard Umeh say that you will not spend more than 1.2 billion to build one flyover. What are the components of a flyover? Cement, chippings, and iron rod. That's what the
government said that one of the reasons why that was expensive is because of the topography of it.
What topography? I signed that contract. I signed it for 4.4 billion. I signed it as Attorney General. And I hear that they've equally reviewed it twice. So I don't know the cost now.
So it was not a topographical issue. It was not the topography.
What topography?
Or the soil.
Which
soil?
The soil
texture.
What is the soil texture in there? Well, you see, I don't even want to go into all that. Because it's not my job. I'm not the quantity surveyor. But I'm only talking about things that we should do. I mean, let me ask you. Do we even need a flyover to Osisioma? Do we need a flyover in Osisioma? The most you can have in Osisioma is a complex. Maybe around about there.
Okay, let us round up our
and let me tell you one thing that will shock you.
Okay.
Let me tell you one thing that will shock you. When people say I was in Abia, they don't know what I saved Abia. That Osisioma flyover you see, after I signed that contract, Osisioma flyover, a month after, I came to my table in Ministry of Justice and saw another contract on my table. The same figure, 4.4 billion. Almost the same description. So I said, are we signing this contract again? And I abandoned, I just threw it by the side. After about a month or two or so, I came to that table. The pump sec or somebody came to me. So they've been coming to ask for this contract. I said, which contract? They said flyover. I said, we've signed it now. Is it not so? He said, no, that this one I should take a second look at it. And I brought the document and I looked at it. Discovered that it was another flyover for Abia interjection. I said, Abia? He said, yes. I took my phone and I called Ezuchubani. I called Mwala. Mwala was the permanent secretary. I said, Mwala, there's another contract here for this thing. How come? This one, you've not started it, and you're bringing another contract. As the man got to site, Mwala said, oh, guys, it's not my job now. You can call Ezuche, my commissioner. And I called Ezuche. Ezuche said he was in Abuja to see his family. The family was in Abuja. That when he comes back, he comes to see me. When he came back, he came to my office. We brought it down together. He said, well, that's the instruction he has. I told Ezuche, we are aides to this man. We should advise him, the governor. I can't just be appending my signature to every document. We've signed this one. There are obligations attached to this document. Please, we tell him we shouldn't sign another one. Let this one start. That was how I kept that document. And he didn't come back to me. And nobody asked me. That document was on that table for about 2-3 years until I left as Attorney General. I don't know what my successor did with it. So you can see that some of these things, you don't just come up with a project without getting experts to advise you. You know, you just be with some friends and they will tell you there is, why not we do this, and you go on to it. There are people who are done it. If you ask me, I'm not an architect, I'm not an engineer. But if you ask me, we don't need a flyover. The money that we spent in building that thing there, could do all the roads in our internal roads. We've not been able to access area up to now, despite the huge amount of money we spent on Ukumango and all those things. The thing is still there.
We had this very wonderful description of one underwater pipe jack system,
yes,
that will jack up the water and make sure water clears up. All those systems altogether seems not to have yielded any fruit. And you were there. Can you give us an idea of what really happened there?
Which one?
The Ifobara water system jack, whatever.
Was it jack? If I remember, that money, is it 36 billion?
Underwater something.
The 36 billion this thing that the former commissioner for I read somebody to
yes. It was that water was supposed to go from there and clear up, and there will be no water logging any of those areas. But we are still experiencing that. Well,
let me tell you. See, I was only concerned with documentation, and I must tell you. You see, these documents come to the Ministry of Justice. That was the Attorney General, and I was the last person on each of those documents. So when those documents come, they normally, all the underpinnings are normally done in the Ministry of Works, where you have the engineers. What we do is to vet those contracts. That is all. So I wouldn't know, and I don't go for inspection to know. And that informs me, if you know, at the point when I was Attorney General, I got so pained by the colossal amount of money that was being spent on road construction in Abia State, and we see there was nothing on the surface to see body. One day, I took it upon myself and I said, no, we can't continue this way. And I raised an issue with the government that we should go to all the neighboring states to find out the cost of road construction in those states. Vis-a-vis what we were doing in Abia. And the government approved it. I was the chairman of that committee. We were 4 of us. The accountant general was part of it, Onye Dilepo. There's another man, Opani, from National Planning, and I think another commissioner. We were asked to go. We went around. We went to Ebonyi State. We went to Enugu State. We went to River State. We went to, in fact, all the states within us. We left the riverine area because of the topography. We didn't go to Bayelsa, but at least the roads that we had the same topography with, like Ebonyi, Anambra, Enugu, and all that. We did all those ones. And Imo. At the end of the day, we discovered that the cost of road construction in those areas was not above 50 million per kilometer. With drainages on both sides. As at that time, we were doing about 200 million in Abia.
200?
Yes!
That's about 300% increase.
I tell you. 300%. And we brought the memo. Everybody saw it. The governor agreed with us. We now decided that none should be more than 55 million. We took the upper limit, 55 million. And there was an ESCO memo to that effect. I let that drive. And it was documented. The contractors came complaining, and we told them, go around all these other states. And even at that price, they were producing, go to Anambra, that was when P2B was in Anambra, building all those roads. But those things were jettisoned just after 2 months.
So that particular recommendation was not finally applied by the government?
Well, I don't know. But for a few months or so that I was there, initially I insisted. When they bring documents, if you ask my farm sec, they will tell you. When you bring any document and I look at, the first thing I look at is the pricing. And I'll tell you this is not in consonance with the ESCO Commission. Please take it back. And I sent back so many of them. Some went and adjusted. Some started raising issues, complaining about me and all that. I said, well, go and change the ESCO resolution. But I understand those things have been jettisoned. I don't know what the cost is now, but I can tell you. Those who were in government with me at that time, they will know. If they're listening, they'll know what I'm saying. I've mentioned names of those who were on that trip with me.
Okay, sir, on a final note to this discussion, can you tell Abians exactly what you want them to do on Saturday?
Please, Abians, what I want you to do is, please discard the PDP government in Abia State. They've not done us well. We've tried them for several years and we've seen where they've kept us. Abia is a pariah state. It's a pariah state. People make jest of Abia. They don't take us serious. This is the same Abia that started what I should call revolution in governance in eastern Nigeria, if not even in Nigeria. This is still that state of Michael Opara. This is still the state of Nijoku. This is still the state of Jaja Wachiku. It's the state where a Canadian took off from here to Ebonyi. And even Jejo Kese is still that state. We cannot be the laughing stock of the world or of the country. Let us fix our state. We have had enough of the PDP government in Abia. There are people in Abia State who have done no business since they got matured, apart from staying in government housing. There are a lot of them who have been here for more than 24 years. Many people feeding and feasting on the commonwealth of our people. I don't want to name them, but they know themselves. They should look for another vocation. You can't impoverish our people. Because if you get to a time when we start mentioning their names, there are people who have not done any job all through their life. They stay here from one government to the other, feeding fat, building houses, and living big to the peril of our people. Our pensioners cannot be paid. Our workers cannot be paid. We don't have roads. We don't have water. Nothing is happening in Abia. I feel sad about this as an Abia. And I want to tell Abians that the time to take over your state, to take back your state, is this coming Saturday. This coming Saturday. Come out and vote. Vote for Alex Oti. Amongst the lot, he's the only person. I don't want to start naming them one after the other. And I can tell you that P2B, who I coordinate, has endorsed him. And I don't see Alex Oti disappointing people like P2B and others who have been endorsing him. He is the only man who has the capacity. He's an economist by training. The bank that he worked, everybody is a penetrated bank, although it's now Access Bank. Diamond Bank had to manage Access Bank. And God want to have Access Bank. He's accomplished in every right. Nobody has anything against him. At the point they raised issues about EFCC and all that about it. He has told me, and I want to believe him, that he has only gone to EFCC as a banker to answer to some questions. Nobody has ever indicted him in anything, and he's been out of the banking industry for years. As we speak, he has another bank which he founded, which is equally making waves. So this is somebody who is accomplished. He's trained, he has competence, he has capacity, he has the wide experience, he has the connections to get Abia out of the woods. He's the only person that can do it. So please, let us, at every point in the life of a state or a nation, God will get somebody. Just like God has introduced to be to salvage Nigeria. I think that is what God has equally brought out B2B. Brought out Alex Oti to salvage Abia, to put Abia on the path of sustainable growth. All of us, please, especially the elite, I want to call on you, because we can't be talking about politicians when we sit back at our home. We're all Abians. I want to urge those of you who are listening to me. If you're outside this state, you're within Nigeria, you're in Lagos or in Abuja, even if you don't have a PVC, come back home. That was what Anambrans did some years back. They all decided that they've had enough of that nonsense, and they decided to come back home and encourage others. You have relations, tell them where to vote. We must discard this PDP government that has kept us down for several years. I want to apologize because a lot of people will accuse me and they will say that I've been here for 10 years. Yes, I have a right to change my view and opinion. And like I said at the onset of this program, that Saul, who later became Paul, was the one oppressing Christians. For those of you who read the Bible. But when he saw the light on the road, on the road to Damascus, he made an automatic change. And ever since then, became Apostle Paul. All the good books we talk about in the Bible were written by him. I don't want to talk about myself when I was here as Attorney General, but those who work with me can attest to the role I played. But more importantly is that I am prepared to join hands with all progressive forces to change the story of Abia. If not for myself, I'm getting old now, but at least for my children and grandchildren. So please join hands with us and vote Alex Oti.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You have listened to Umeh Kalu SAN, and he's a key supporter of both Peter Obi and Dr. Alex Oti. Thank you for watching this program. Subscribe on all our social media handles. Follow us everywhere, and I know that you will always enjoy it. And don't forget to always drop your comment and contribute in all our editions. Thank you, and God bless.